Juno's World.
Exactly. You
What
froze
was
in the
that?
moment. What happened last week? You was like, I want to do the intro, man.
Oh, it's my boy. Welcome to another episode of the No Clickbait Podcast. I'm your host Ism, and you know I got my boy Freighted and ready with me. Tell him, introduce yourself. Tell him more about yourself. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, everybody? Yeah, I should see how he was frozen, he didn't know what to do. Shook in the moment. Welcome everybody to another episode.
I didn't know
Welcome
you broke
everybody to
the
another
door.
episode of the No Clickbait Podcast. It's your boy Freddie Andretti here. You already know what my guy Ism. That froze in the moment, man. I wish y'all could have seen his face. Like he was like, what do we do now?
You was giving me instead of verbal cues, you wanted me to pick up on what was happening. I'm like, what do you mean? And then I thought about last week. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I wanted to
I'm the
see if
host
you
this
would
time.
naturally like if you. I figured you remembered, so I wanted to see if you would naturally just be like, "Yo, what's up, everybody?" Blah blah blah, and go like right into the intro. But you was
Oh, next time I'll remember though. Next time I'll make sure I have the best intro this year. Make sure there's nothing you can
you
top
were like a
nothing.
deer in the headlights, man.
You gave me the ball when you had the shot.
That was like my
I was about to start talking like Missy Elliott in reverse. If the boy is yours to
that was like when they it was at one point like it was just all kind of like events, crazy like things happening, and then there was like dang, we're probably about to see some aliens, and it was like a meme, and it was like, oh my gosh, we're next. What do we do? And it was like the alien doing that, like he was nervous, like coming out and like appearing in front of people. That's how you. That's how you were.
What's wild is I just seen a video
So like
of
an
this
alien.
lady in court,
Oh,
and dude was like,
oh.
"You said
I,
that she
I
looked
thought
like an
that's where you
alien?
were going with it.
Aliens coming all shapes, sizes. I don't know what they look like for real, but hint, hint. But no, the dude that was on the stand, he was being questioned for whatever reason, and they was like, "What is she to you?" He was like, "Oh, that's my girlfriend," and she made like a shot face, like she didn't know he was gonna call him that, so she just like was completely still. So it was like, when's the last time you and her have been intimate? And he started thinking about it. He was like, this morning. And so then she got even more still. They started calling her name. Her name happened to be Miss Jackson.
Mhm.
So it was like, Miss Jackson, Miss Jackson. And she just sitting there
I know exactly what you're talking about.
like they was gonna
That was a
stop calling
meme.
her name.
I know exactly what you're talking
Huh?
about.
Yeah, yeah. I never seen the
Yeah,
video. I only saw the
yeah.
picture.
Oh, but it is funny though because you could tell it was true. He wasn't lying. She wasn't expecting him to say that, especially not in front of like. I mean, you're on national television, so putting her business out there like that.
Why'd you change television to TV to
I
television
don't
just
know.
now?
National TV just didn't. I don't know. It didn't sound. It didn't sound right.
Your unk vocabulary coming
My
in.
uncle. You seen the ages?
Or the
You
national
seen the
television.
ages from YN, Big Bro to Unc?
I don't. When I see stuff like that, I keep it moving, man. Nobody about
Hey
to make me
man,
feel no way about myself.
it's a real thing out here.
But they say the 24-year-olds are being called unk and old and stuff like that.
Cause it's. I mean, I guess it all depends on who you talk to. You could be.
It seems like it's a blessing to
I
live.
mean, it definitely is a blessing to live.
No, I'm saying like when when you were younger, and if you say something to an older person, because older people like to throw their age out there and their seniority for no reason. Like, you lucky to make it this far. And they be like, 60, 50. But then now you'll be lucky to make it 24, 25. And it just keep dropping. Imagine you be in high school and they be like, "What up, Unc?" And you end up with a senior.
I mean, that's a sad reality because people don't know how to act out here, and they glorifying trying to be about that life until it's too late. Then you get people who get locked up for life. Then that's the point when they give like the speeches of y'all don't want to live this life, or I mean, you can't speak from your grave, so sometimes it be too late.
See, that Unc status kicking, and I tell you a joke, and all of a sudden I'm getting lectured about the
No,
times
because
we in.
I'm being serious though, because it's just crazy times. But on a lighter note,
You young snappers quick to take a life. What about?
I said
You
on a
said what?
lighter note, I did to go back to what we was talking about. Like, so the YN is from 13 to 24. Big Bro is from 25 to 35. So we're big bros. And then is when you get to 36 to 48. And then anything above 48, you're old head, pops, or old school.
That ain't super duper crazy, but I was wondering. I feel like people, um, they predate themselves. Like, I feel like everybody has something that they don't let go from of their era that lets you know, like, this is what you are. You like, there's certain references that people just won't get because I'm say like a movie that you would have only saw because you was alive around that time.
Like what?
I feel like when people try to stick to pop
Like
culture,
what?
huh? What would be a movie that an older person would reference that you probably know know of? I'm trying to think of one that would fit the mold. Like, what's an old movie that you just happen to see?
Uh, like, would you, like I'm gonna get you sucker or something? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Say something like that. Like, say, because I watch battle rap, so a lot of times it's hard for battle rappers to reach all age groups because say you battle rapping and you 17, 18-year old and somebody like and like in Living Color and the crowd go crazy and you like, how's that a bar? Like, what are you talking about? What is in Living Color? Things
I
like that.
mean, if it's a classic, people will know what you're talking about. But it was
I don't think everybody
I
watched the
mean,
classic.
everybody ain't seen that living color, but it was I think it was a skit. I don't know if it was a skit or if it was real, but I saw a video the other day. I can't remember. Um but it was like name classic songs or like old school songs. And then the kids was just like, was that
Didn't I send
that's
that
what
to
you
you?
sent me? Okay.
It was a elementary, about elementary, I think that's how you
Have
say
it.
it. And there were the kids was
That's
like
why,
Lil
yeah,
Wayne
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
Millie.
That's
They
why
were
I
like, it
know what
was a
it is. I
classic.
just watched it. I'm tripping. See, I'm old, man. But yeah, they was like
Yeah. That boy said I saw something the other day, like I
they
didn't
were like
send
a
it.
Millie and all that. Following the O's. Yeah.
50 Cent in the club.
So
That's what made me think of it too, because it was just like when you hear that, it's just like you don't even realize these are songs because they was like that. Because he was like, "That's not old. That was in '90s." No,
yeah,
he
it
was
was
like,
like
"That's
I
the
was
early
born.
2000s." The kid was like, "I was born in
Yeah.
2020."
It'd be crazy, like realizing how you were that age thinking like 30 is old or 31 is old, but then you get to be 31 and you're like, you're really not that old.
It's wild because I've been thinking how much of our life was really ever in our control. And I don't think you really get in control until you like late 20s. Like 17, 18, you graduate high school. At that point, you a senior, still asking, can I go to the bathroom? You not in control of nothing for.
Yeah,
And you really don't have, I was wondering when people have full control of their life because like late 20s, you just getting out of high school, which you kind of still under somebody else. Then you might go to the military or college, still under somebody else. And I don't know what's the
you don't know what's what.
I don't know what's the expectancy of when somebody should have this and that together because I feel like it's a variable.
I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, it's not necessarily an age because people have different circumstances. Some people are further along than others because they have like different financial situations or they were put in different situations coming up to where they can have success, not even necessarily success, they can have like resources and things a little quicker than some others. Some people,
Mhm.
like for instance, people try to put an age on when you need to move out your parents' house. But some people can't move out immediately because they don't have it like that financially to have their own place. You know, sometimes you gotta stay with your parents for a couple more years, save up, or get a especially if you're coming right out of high school or right out of college, maybe you have to save up a little bit with a big boy job and then get your own place instead of moving right out. Or your parents, if you are coming from a situation, maybe your parents is paying your rent or whatever, which does happen in some cases. Everybody don't got it like that. And some people also don't have like the financial literacy to manage that immediately. Um, so either you don't have it or you do have it and you still can't manage it. Or, like I said, your parents are taking care of you, so it really don't matter.
Yeah. Um, but I'm saying like I feel if you have it all quote unquote figured out and together at like in your 20s, you're just kind of blessed. I don't feel like that's like a normal thing. Like see references like that, but yeah, I feel like when do you feel like you get control? Like not even just financially stable itself, just where do you feel like you are who you can lean on and trust? Like you don't feel like you're gonna need too much help. I was saying, when do you feel like it's safe to feel like, okay, I'm in control? Like what do you feel if you had to pick an average time period, like maybe your 30s or like 40s, where you like, I lean on me and I know I can figure it out
I
regardless.
mean, I don't know, Mr. Clark. I would say
Hmm. But you the one preaching.
there's no set age uh, to feel like you're in control. Some people are in control at a very young age. It all, like I said, it all depends on the circumstances. Like it's been situations where, like, let's say their siblings, there's an older sibling who's like 5 years older than like their younger brother, younger sister, but they had to mature quickly, and they had to basically be there to support their siblings. And they could be in control at 20 years old versus somebody who was in a different situation. They're still leaning on their parents, leaning on others. They don't have control of their life. They don't have, like I said, financial literacy or the maturity to take care of themselves at that level. And they could be 30 years old. I feel like 30 years old is,
Yeah, that's what I'm
I feel
saying.
like that is old to not like be able to have a job, pay your bills, take care of your own finances and stuff. But It's situational. But I would say 30 is
Right.
definitely like it. But if you're in like 24, 25, then I mean that's when a lot of people getting out of like college, you really diving into actual adulthood because that's when you get like an actual big boy job, career job. So I would say that's probably the range if you're looking for an actual number.
I just wanted your perspective. It didn't have to be an actual number. If you would have just said you don't think it's a number, it's more so circumstantial,
Yeah,
then
it's
it would have
definitely
been that.
circumstantial. Some people get a head start.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If like you got it all figured out, or even someone figured out at 20, I feel like you had a bunch of people you can lean on. Because that's definitely a hard time to just get everything flowing your way consistently at that.
I mean, that's why people got to stop putting pressure on themselves because just because somebody else has it figured out at a certain age, I don't mean you have to have it figured out. Like even when, like I always hate it when people say, "Oh, I bought a house at such and such age." Like, why does that matter? You bought a house. Congratulations. Like that's it shouldn't matter what age you are, because all that's doing is putting pressure on other people. They be like, "Damn, I'm 23. Why I don't have a house?" Like they're in a completely different situation than you. Just because they bought a house, they don't mean they paid for it. Their parents could have paid most of it anyway.
But that's the reaction people want. Like, oh, I'm doing so much better.
Yeah, like the accomplishment is buying a house. It don't matter what age you are. If you're 50 and you get your first house, congratulations. Like, don't put pressure on yourself just because somebody else is doing good. Like, even when you see people who like to brag about always being on vacation or whatever the case is, like, good for them. Don't try to compare yourself. That's why they say comparison is the biggest thief of joy. And that's why Cole said,
That's the long version. I don't know. You just hit with the extended version. I just knew comparison kills joy. I didn't know they were
"Nah,
saying
man,
all that extra stuff.
you gotta say it so it hits."
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay, okay.
but that's why Cole said there's no such thing as a life that's better than yours.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about the little nuances that make you you, I would not trade being me for anything. I like me
Hmm?
a lot.
I don't know why, but I mean, you like it, I love it.
To resign. You getting real Skip
Boy,
Bayless
that's a
around here.
crazy insult. Bro, it used to be a time.
Never heard somebody throw the first punch and complain about how hard they get hit.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and still get up and keep fighting. Rocky Balboa. Well, it used to be a time where I used to cuss Skip out like every day. Like I used to send him a tweet and call him out of his name every single day.
You want to share with the people what those names look like?
I mean, I used to call him what I used to call him like a albino raisin, and uh, I used to call him Betty White all the time. Shout out to Betty. I do love Betty White, the actual Betty White. Um, yeah, I used to call that man everything but Skip.
Is that even his real name?
Hmm.
Because I'm just thinking about that. I don't know nobody named Skip.
I know. I got a cousin named Skip.
Is that his
I
name?
actually don't know his real name. He's always been Skip, and this is my actual cousin. I never heard him. Huh?
You don't know him like you think you do. So you don't know him like you think you do. That man name is John Edward Bayless.
Yeah, call me Skip.
John Edward Bayless II. Oh my God. I've never thought about that. I'm like, Skip isn't a real name. Nobody named Skip his name Skip.
You never know, man. Their name could be like, I don't know. I can't think of anything with Skip in it. John Edward Bayless sounds
Exactly.
like a serial killer.
Besides Birdman music.
Skip, 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 skip. Why you hating on Birdman, man?
What you mean hating? Don't act like when the last time you consciously listened to Birdman?
I was listening to Birdman this morning.
I said consciously.
This morning.
What song did you
I'm
choose to
lying. I
listen
ain't
to of
listening to no
Birdman?
Birdman.
I know you lying.
Birdman ruined a song in a minute just by talking. Hey, Playboy.
Exactly. It's just gonna be it's not even a play on words. He's just gonna find one word he like and do association, and that's gonna be his part. Red bandana, red car, her nails red, my shoes red. Big player things, Playboy. And then the person who's supposed to be rapping gonna come back.
I do this for me gladdy, boy. Hey, Skip might be a little black. You know his
No,
mama named
I'm
Levita?
Skip. Skip is definitely black. There's no debate. You know a white Levita? I only know one Levita.
Levita Alizé Jenkins.
Exactly.
Her name was Levita Alizé.
I've never met a Levita in my life. So his mama name is Levita Edwards.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you get Edwards from?
Oh yeah. And his last name Edwards?
Skip Bayless?
No, my bad. I'm tripping.
Thinking about
I'm
Anthony
tripping.
Edwards?
I am watching the game,
Yeah, you
but I'm
tripping
tripping.
hard.
Yeah. I was gonna say who's the most prolific person with two first names, but I already
I
know your
mean,
answer.
am I wrong?
Go ahead, do your whole spiel because it feel
Nah,
like
ain't
another
another
speech
speech. I
coming.
mean,
Make sure you name this episode "Speeches
speeches
or
are.
Us."
I mean, there's a lot of great people out there with two first names. I mean, when it comes to basketball, the two main people who people put in that GOAT conversation both have two first names. So the arguably people call it,
Talking about Julius Randle.
yeah, arguably who people call the GOAT in football. He has two first names. Um, who else has two first names? There's a lot of people who have two first names.
Trying to think who's off-brand two first name that don't get talked about.
Off brand two first name. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just somebody who they walking around with two first names, but they're not as popular. Oh, Jalen Warren,
Mm.
Mason Rudolph,
Mason Rudolph. I don't know. Now
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson ain't no off brand.
No, I'm just thinking that wasn't off-brand. It just came to my mind. I didn't realize that Jackson is a
I
first
got
name
you.
for
Joy
real.
Taylor. Joy Taylor.
You said who? That's
Yeah.
she worked for ESPN, ain't it?
I
Yeah.
just saw that because I was looking at Skip Bayless and she was, you know, I give you the suggestions of who else. or like related.
Say still.
Somebody out here named Steel.
You ain't never seen Juice?
his first name was Steel.
His name was Still.
That probably his last name.
Unless that was his last name and we don't remember the
It,
first. Like when we was talking about Craig
it was
Mama.
definitely Betty. It was definitely his last name.
So what was his first name?
They never said it. That's
So how you figure it's his last name?
because ain't nobody name gonna be Steel.
Man, how long we was walking around calling somebody Skip and that wasn't their name?
That's different. It wasn't like
Oh,
it
that's
wasn't like we
different.
were saying his last name was Skip.
That would have been believable. I mean, it's somebody whose last name is Arenas, which is insane when you say it out loud.
Hey, his son, that man do not pass.
Yeah, he gonna live forever. I heard, but I didn't really watch his I haven't watched the highlights for real, but it's one of them things that you can definitely believe based off who he raised around.
Yeah,
I mean, have Gilbert Arenas and then have Nick Young. I know it ain't no influence of moving the rock around. Did you see the video when Gilbert Arenas and Nick Young was on
yeah.
teams?
Against Brandon Jennings and Shot McCants. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw the.
And he was telling Nick Young to move to certain spots and he still wouldn't give him the ball.
He ain't get it. He didn't pass the ball not once.
One time.
All Nick could do was take the ball out. Like that was it.
He was shooting over double team. Talk about something. It's because you're not in the corner. What?
And they got punished by Rashad McCants.
Random thought. That's he's terrible. Random thought though. Didn't I meant to ask you, was there a time where Corey and them had lived like above a nail shop? Or am I making that
It
up?
was a hair salon. It wasn't Corey.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Mirror.
it was Mir, Steve, and Meek. That boy don't let an episode go by without bringing up Corey.
That is.
I
You said
said you
about
don't let
without
an
what?
episode go by without bringing up Corey.
Nah, we ain't talking about Corey in some weeks. We actually slipping. Shout out to Corey though. But now I was thinking about that because I was watching Rush Hour, and he was Don Cheadle had a whole operation inside the
Mm-hmm.
like Chinese shop, and I started thinking about like it just crossed my mind. I was like, these boys really was the upstairs to a hair salon, and that's insane to
I
think
mean, it
about.
was a nice, a low key spot, really, until it wasn't.
Yeah, that's where you go when that's where you go when you got 5 stars on
Yeah,
GTA.
like nobody,
What
like
you
that
mean
whole
till it wasn't? What I
time,
missed?
like we were there. Nobody knew those were apartments over there, and then everybody, everybody
I
knew
can
there
only
were
imagine.
apartments over there.
Uh, I messed it up for everybody.
That's just how it is, though. Once the little spotlight comes, everybody gonna go over there, blowing up spot.
I said once the DEIs get a hold of it, it's a wrap. That's crazy. You think our listeners can't speak in code?
No, I ain't even saying all that.
Nah, I don't know what you put down.
Pick up the piece.
That's why. See, these are all the things I mean. Like, I feel like it's gonna be a time where you break out in a song or you do something like that, and people are gonna be genuinely confused. They're gonna be worried about you because they're not gonna know what
I
that
mean,
reference is.
there's people who are my age and don't know what I'm talking about, but that sounds like a personal problem to me. If you don't know who Hustle Man is, then I don't know what I can tell you. You're missing out on life.
Right. What do you feel like are three things that people are glad you experienced that really made you feel like, or if you feel like you told somebody about it, they will miss out on it, or feel like, dang, I wish I was
Three
around for
things
that.
I'm glad I experienced.
Yeah, like if you was gonna flex your coming, like your upbringing, and you wanted people to be like, dang, I wish I was around for that. What
Uh,
would the three things be?
shit.
Good question. I know. Welcome to the Ism Show. You know what I'm saying? We're bringing you all the hottest questions
Three
you didn't
things
know
I'm
was
glad
coming.
I experienced in my life. I mean,
Yeah.
air.
You said what?
Three things I'm glad I experienced. Let me see. I
Did you
said
say
air.
air or hair?
Oh shit,
Oh, okay.
hair too. Um,
Shout out to Mike Tyson.
I mean, I don't know, man.
What? You can't think of three things that's like of your lifetime where it's like, dang, that was a great time or that was a great experience.
I mean, I can't think of nothing like specifically like that's exclusive to my life that I'm like off the top of my head. Like I would say,
I
like you
mean,
give
you
me,
got
huh?
era of basketball, era of basketball. You've seen the Colts win a ring, I believe.
Stuff like that. Yeah,
None of that.
I was thinking like bigger picture, I guess. Yeah, obviously, I was happy. I was able to experience
I
like
mean,
a prime era of basketball where Kobe was still in his prime, and you had Shaq and KG.
prime era crazy. My boy,
Kobe
no
was still
aliens.
in his
Go ahead.
prime. You had Shaq and KG and Dirk, and then you still had that class of Bron and Wade and Melo and all them, and then still after them KD and Curry and all that. So I was happy to experience that era of basketball. Then the same thing, huh?
Oh yeah, you telling on yourself a lot. You telling on yourself a lot. You done slipped up twice.
Happy to experience that era of basketball. Happy to experience the era of football where, like you said, the Colts won the championship. Um, and then you get to see like I guess a lot of good players. Happy to experience, which looking back was a nasty time. Like the era of like the Fusion Jordans. Because back then, I mean, you were fresh. So like it's like the different Jordans and
Yep.
stuff. Fashion was crazy back then, but I mean, back then you couldn't tell. Yeah, you were
Insane.
fresh back then. Uh, music like Ti dropping like in his prime, Jeezy dropping in his prime. Um, even like I used to like them franchise boys or the Hot Boys when they were dropping. So if you look at it that way, huh?
I didn't know you was a hot boy. I didn't know you was a
I
hot
mean, the
boy fan.
music used to be fire. I got tickets to the reunion.
You gotta convince me.
Tickets to the reunion.
You said you got what?
Nah, I'm joking.
Uh-uh. Yeah, about to say you ain't that much of a fan now.
Hey, Playboy.
Black people, Black
All
Panther,
jokes aside, though,
T'Challa.
I don't know if you are a Tiny Desk fan. Um, Juvenile,
Why you
huh?
bringing T.I. wife into this?
Uh,
What this
uh,
got to do with T.I.
Piggly
wife?
Wiggly. But Tiny Desk, Juvenile Tiny Desk is fire.
I heard. Then he sung like a jazzy version of slow
Yeah,
motion.
yeah. And then he didn't give me a project.
You know what's wild? That I was thinking about that. You know what's wild is even when a song is trash, if they go on one of them lyric breakdown shows and just say the lyrics slow, it'll make you feel like you missed out on
Yeah.
art just because the cadence.
Or you can say like stupid stuff just because of cadence. It sound good. Like a lot of people doing like videos, impersonating Bossman Dlow.
I just want to point out now that you say that, just to throw it out there. This is why having a platform is important. Come back to what you just said, but to start it off, we were the first to bring up how wild that song
Hmm.
is. Too Close, it's called. And I'm seeing at least 3, 4 videos where people like POV when you realize what the song is really about. And even with the Boss Man D'Lo, I did a video like that last year. And I'm not saying people are copying me. All I'm saying is like when you got a platform, it's like everything comes back to your originality. So like the first person who ever used auto tune, we can point back or who made it popular. It's just like nobody can do it and rewrite history and be like, oh, this is where it started at. You get what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, that just means you got to make the platform bigger, get more eyes on it. That way you get the recognition.
E-
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm advocating. So when we tell y'all share stuff, share
But another episode, no clickbait podcast.
it.
I'm eating food, then I'm eating my pie last. My man just be saying anything, but the beat be hard. He got the same like flow in every song.
Left pocket on right pocket on. No, you didn't. Just went to the dentist the other day. He had said, "Boy, you spit." Like, what is no premise? It's just the same setup, just with new words, new polar
Just left the
opposites.
club. It's 30 in the morning. No man tired. Now I'm out here yawning. Like what? No,
Don't play Call of Duty. Ain't really a fan of the spawning.
shade outside. That's my sunset on.
We call it joking.
Yeah, I don't know about that sunset on.
We call it joking. In Philly, they call it yawning.
I'm gonna wash dishes. I gotta put some Dawn in.
I don't flex my plays. If I'm a bet, it's gonna be all in.
Shout out to Bossman Dlow, man. Keep doing your thing.
Who played Ashley Larry? His name was Donnell Rawlins. All right, that's enough.
Shout out to the Bossman Dlow. My boy Spitter dropped today though. Definitely gotta listen to that. Him and Harry Fraud.
Not the Hawk Tour. I feel like if he ain't used no Hawk Tour bar yet, he's slipping because he got the perfect name to make some
Yeah.
wordplay for it.
It's him and Harry Fraud though, so I know it's fire.
That's an insane name. That's up there with probably the
Yeah.
most suspect names
Harry Fraud.
to ever roam this earth. Yeah, that sounds like somebody roaming the streets that the cops are looking for, and that's the only description they could give. Do you know what he looks like? Nah, he was a hairy fraud. We'll get to the bottom of this. That's what that sounds like. It's a dude who did a list of the most suspect names, and some of them names I never even thought of until like it's something you just say, and then when somebody pointed out, and you're like, that is wild.
Yeah, I saw. I know what you're talking about. It was like a video on IG. I didn't watch it, but I know what you're talking about. Harry Fraud sound like somebody who I mean, I guess that's what you call a man with a toupee. Mhm.
That is one way to look at it too.
But it's
But anything that starts off hairy sounds wild. Like even as a description, anything described as hairy usually don't have no good finishing touch.
like Harry Potter.
That might be the only
Dang,
one.
that's actually his name. Messed up.
And that's a name. Wait, take that double R out and put an
Harry
I.
Potty. Crazy. You
You
said
said
take the
what?
R out and put an I. Harry
Yeah.
Potty. Oh, you taking the R out? The Harry.
Out of
I
hairy.
was.
Why would you take?
I
What are
took
you
the
doing?
R out of Potter. That's what I thought you was talking about.
Oh, I hear confusing the people. Why would you take it out of Potter?
Get a false ism so we can get up out of here, man.
Ism. I don't know who I don't have a clever wordy one, but I have a testimony, better yet. So, um, I don't know if you saw, but I made a Kendrick Lamar hoodie. I mean, I figured he's having the run any rapper could ask for. Like, whether you're a fan or not, he just was featured on 3 tracks of a Cardi album, which a lot of people was like, well, he'd be on a Cardi album. They couldn't think of what that would sound like, but people listen and they like what it sounds like. So I say all that to say, I usually don't do like theme clothing or cookies or anything. I like to do things that I just feel like would be dope, but it is easier to promote something that's already relevant. So I made a Kendrick Lamar hoodie and I've been like mass promoting it. Anything Kendrick Lamar related that I can find, I'll post it, link it, whatever. And some chick was like, I would like one. But the thing is, I only made the sizes small through large simply because I made polls to ask people like, what size are you? And try to gauge what the average person or the average buyer who shops with me, what they wear instead of making sizes that probably won't sell out. So being that I didn't have her size, I promoted my other hoodies to her. And she was like, oh yeah, these are cool too. Like I'll cop one next week. So usually anybody who knows business, the people who be like, I'll shop next week or I gotta support black businesses, they usually don't do it. It's usually just to buy some time. So she came through the next week and actually reminded me and was like, hey, you remember those hoodies that I said I was interested in? I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you still have them? So yeah, I do. Not only did she cop a hoodie, she copped the ones that are the priciest ones I have, and she bought 3 of them. Then on top of that, she she asked me what I was charging to just make sure, and before I even gave her a price, she gave me what I charged and then some. So I say all that to say, there's a lot of people who will tell you like you're not worth whatever it is you're asking for. Then there's people who are always going to just buy what they see potential in, what they want. There's never going to be a time where people don't buy what they want, whether it's shoes, whether it's home decor. Everybody has something that they see the value in it, they'll spend on it. So don't change your prices. Change who you market to. Change your audience. Because even the audience you keep around you can make you feel like you're not doing enough. And sometimes a lot of people treat familiarity as friendship just because people around you like don't make them your friends. So check your circle, check your audience, and life will get better.
That's a
That's the
long
ism.
ass ism. You could have just did the Bossman Dlow version.
I'm gonna do that. That's how I'm
Yeah.
gonna do my isms for the
You
next
could have
couple
simply
weeks.
said, change people around you because people just be acting nice. Don't never change your price. Never change that asking price. Like,
How did you just rhyme price with price, and why did you say sacrifice? See,
I
we got a
rhyme
lot to work on.
price
I'm gonna teach you.
with nice. See,
What
I
was the bar?
said,
You said act a knife, and you said never change your
yeah,
price, never
never
change your
change
asking
price.
price.
Never change that asking price. Because I rhyme with people acting nice. Acting nice with
So you
asking price. Come on now.
You
No.
Ryan Price twice.
It's
You
most
know what you did.
see, you're not a
You're
rapper.
not about to act
It
like I'm the one tripping.
that's why it's a double bar.
Mm,
Yeah,
so
you
you
pay
paid the
the
price twice.
sometimes you gotta pay the cost to be the boss because there's bosses and there's workers, and then there's kings and there's servants.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and end it. I'm glad everybody enjoyed the podcast today. Um, enjoy y'all weekend.
No,
We'll
we
be back
won't, but
next week.
hey, all right, y'all. Nah, we'll be back.
Oh, we not back next week.
All right.
Yep.